ride. Good morning. Mike Austin here, your little pilot of the boat taking you through Tuesday morning. It's about 11 after 7 o'clock. And we really haven't moved much on temperature, 58 degrees still. And not too much warmer than that before the temperature starts to fall later on. Tomorrow we're going to have Katie Nicolau in the 8 o'clock hour from WLNS Meteorology. Come on and talk about the storms and things. They're moving in tonight, and then we'll see what tomorrow brings to us. It's kind of humid out there right now. But the weather, as much as you can predict it, that's one of the uncertainties of life. Ask a farmer, man. We thrive when we're certain about certain things. Now, there's nothing in life, as my dad would say, there's very little that is certain. Death and taxes. By the way, that was Ben Franklin who said that. Joining us now, how to deal with uncertainty, is our good friend, Dr. John Braccio, drjohnb.com on the web, Regional Psychological Services in East Lansing. Doc, I am certain that you are going to have a bunch of knowledge on this subject this morning. Good morning.
Well, I'm certain. Good morning to you, Mike. But uncertainty certainly can be an emotional, really drain on people. Okay, it's evident that really human beings really need certainty in their lives and experience psychological distress when experiencing uncertainty. Human beings are programmed to have things predictable. In their lives as much as possible, not have to deal with constant stressors when things are uncertain. The stress is an obvious outcome when someone wants to have certainty in life and they're not able to make decisions or determine what is the right thing to do to have it. This can immobilize a person from decision making and cause high anxiety and really even depression over an extended period of time. And, besides anxiety, common outcomes of uncertainty include fear, doubt, lack of self-confidence in decision making, unsure of faith in a supreme being that a person can have, feelings of not being accepted, concerns about health, concerns about job, concerns about security, concerns about being loved and cared for, really along with like almost anything that might, come as a result of uncertainty. A common reason for uncertainty is when we don't have needed information, okay? It's come up with clear decisions because of the unpredictable and unforeseen possible changes, in the environment, okay? This can lead to the person doing such things as overcomplicated, just overthinking what they're doing, making decisions, intellectualizing, becoming the little intellectual in terms of really trying to make a decision that really ought not to require all that. Second guessing any decision that is made. All of a sudden, the person's rethinking, should I have done that? Might I have done this? Could this have been done differently? And sometimes becoming totally paralyzed, not able to make any decision because of the fear of making the wrong decision. And overall, they're just really getting just loaded with distress. Now, the end result is the person leading an unhappy and unsuccessful life plagued by uncertainty. Now, the question is, what do you do? Well, what you need to do is, to overcome this, is to look at what can be done. What do you know? Okay, what do you know? What decision can you make just looking at what you see? Gather as much information as possible about the situation if it is really a confusing thing. Then learn, okay? You need to learn things that you need just to pick up in order to be able to make a decision, okay? And then you have to make the best decision possible based on that, and then make changes along the way based on what occurs. Now, this seems pretty simple, doesn't it? I mean, doesn't it sound simple? Just gather this information, look over the possibilities, make a decision, and move on. Well, it really ought to be, even with difficult situations, if you really go through this process. But it may seem simple, but it's not. I mean, it's obviously very hard for persons to deal with uncertainty, and we see this every day in people's lives when people just can't make decisions and just get utterly bogged down and wear themselves and everybody else out as they're trying to deal with this uncertainty.
And of course, that stress long term can bring on physical health problems, ulcers,
Good.
and stuff like that. But haven't we always been uncertain about stuff? I mean, I think every generation thinks theirs is got the most stress, or theirs has the least this, or the most that. You know what I mean? Because we live in those times.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I do think that people, sure, all times, because humans are humans. It doesn't matter the generation. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the key is how you approach it, because if there's always going to be uncertainty. You mentioned the weather. The weather is obviously when you plan to get together, a cookout. Okay, you pick July 20th. You're going to have all people in your backyard. You do worry about it. I mean, wonder if it's going to storm, or we're going to have rain, or what's the alternative. But just generally in life, people they're not sure. Like, they're in a job. I wonder how long this is going to last. It might be the most secure job, but the person doesn't think that. So you plan, if something does happen to your job, what are you going to do? You want to have money set aside so you're able to last for a period of time if you have to be looking for another job. It's kind of the planning, what's going to happen here. And because I think we all talk to people that are just utterly immobilized. You feel like saying, just do this or that. You don't want to be telling somebody what to do, but as they sit there just torturing themselves, I can't quite decide. I mean, should I watch this or should I watch that? And you're just saying, this is, if need be, watch both of them. I mean, you don't have to be debating. But that is what people do. They just this uncertainty, and there can be a lot of uncertainty. Don't hear me wrong. I mean, in terms of job, in terms of relationships, in terms of interactions with people.
Always.
If you're going to move, it can lead to a lot of uncertainty, but what a person has to do is just make a decision, move forward. Don't relook it. You can't be second guessing.
There you go.
Even if you determine it's a bad decision, you made it, you go forward, and you just use that experience for the future in making a better decision when the same facts come about.
There you go. I credit my father for instilling that when I was a kid. Always, always, always talking about just make a decision and live with it. That was his line, and I watched him do it, and it never seemed like Dad made a mistake. But later in life, you look at what he did, sure he did make mistakes, but he made the best out of the results, and he lived with the consequences or what have you, and he made lemonade out of lemons if he made the wrong decision. That's really what we need to learn.
I think you make a very good point, Mike. I think you're right. It's not that people have always made the right decision. What they've done, they've made a decision, they've lived with it, and they've done the best they can with it. Because you can't always make the right decision. You can think you have. I mean, you can change jobs and realize, I've got a much worse situation, than I had before. You can be dating someone, finding problems, and then all of a sudden date someone else and realize, my goodness. Things were a lot better, with somebody. I mean, life is loaded with decisions all the time. The point is, when we make them, we try to make them with the best information we have. Then we have to live with it. And like your dad, your point's a very good one. He might not have always made maybe the right whatever decision you might have made. He might have made a better one, but whatever he did it. He made the best one he could at the time, and then lived with it and made it as successful as it could be. And if you looked at it, you'd say, golly, he always makes the right decision. Well, really what he did, whatever decision he made, he really did learn how he would deal with it as best he could. And I'm sure made changes that you might not notice along the way. But that's dealing with uncertainty. But again, it's look at the information you have, sort out then what are the possibilities of what you might do, gather more information if you need it, then make a decision and make changes along the way as it comes, and that can help really reduce uncertainty. But uncertainty can really be a difficult thing for people, particularly those that can't make decisions. They just sit there
paralyzing.
Paralyzing. Paralyzes the person. Yeah, it can be overwhelming, Mike.
And the people around that person feel that stress as well. It's like an infection. Oh, Dr. John Braccio.
Right.
Yeah, man. I always look forward to these chats because Sometimes you step on something like the stress of uncertainty, and it touches virtually everybody out there. We're not unique in it. Regional Psychological Services, East Lansing, drjohnb.com on the web. How's your week looking? You got some certain things going on, Doc?
Well, going out with some friends a couple times this week, and that's going to be fun. Doing some little Italian food.
Oh, come on.
In Miami, so doing a little swimming and things like that. So, yeah, if you like these 80-plus degree days every day in sun, it's okay. If you don't, it's a bad situation.
Yeah. You and Eben Brown, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. You know what? Speaking of stress, though, not to bring it back up and everything, but the uncertainty in that, if you have a close circle of friends that you can get with, not just, hey, let's get together, but, coffee with one of them or something like that you can confide in, boy, that helps a lot, doesn't it?
It's really critical. Humans, we're definitely social. We need people to talk to. There are a few people that may be exceptions, but as a whole, we need people to talk to. We need to interact. We need reinforcement. We need to give reinforcement. Yeah, very true, Mike.
All right.
Very true. Sure.
Doc, we're up on time. I appreciate it as always. And you and me together again next Tuesday, God willing.
Sounds good, my friend, and hope you have a good week.
Thanks a lot. You too.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye-bye. 1320 WILS. It's 7:21. We'll do this timeout. Come back here. Working on tomorrow's show already too. We're gonna talk about the lawn and garden show. That's coming up tomorrow. We'll get Derek Lencioni in the studio, I think. But the show itself is coming up. We were looking at the Austin family compound yesterday, talking about home and garden show. I always like to go just to get ideas and stuff. No major renovations, but I've got some ideas for an outdoor kitchen I want to do outside. I guess that is kind of major, isn't it? This year. 1320 WILS, 722, and about 58 degrees. It's about as warm as we're going to get today. We'll do this and come right back.